Imagine a bank robbery so grandiose, so audacious that it left a nation stunned. We're not talking about a heist from a Hollywood blockbuster, but a real-life event that unfolded in the most populous country on the planet, China. This isn't just any heist. It's a tale of meticulous planning, audacity, and a shocking twist of events that would leave the world in disbelief. It's the story of the greatest bank robbery in Chinese history. Picture this. The year is 2007. The place, Hangzhou, a bustling city in eastern China known for its stunning Westlake and thriving tech industry. But beneath the city's modern veneer, something unthinkable was brewing. In the heart of Hangzhou, under the watchful eyes of millions, a daring plan was set into motion. A plan so audacious it would make even the most seasoned criminals blush. The target was no less than one of the city's largest banks. Now, when we talk about bank heists, we're often thinking of a few thousand, maybe a few million at most. But this wasn't just any robbery. This was a theft on a scale so massive it's hard to even fathom. We're talking about a staggering 51 million yuan. That's right, 51 million. In the blink of an eye, a colossal sum of money vanished into thin air. A theft so grand it sent shockwaves through the nation and left the authorities scrambling for answers. This was not just a crime, it was a daring act of audacity, a brazen challenge to the law, a mystery that would baffle investigators for years to come. It was, in every sense, an unimaginable heist. And as the dust settled, a chilling realization dawned. This was not just a daring robbery, it was a symbol of an audacious new era of crime, a wake-up call to a nation unprepared for such audacity, a crime that forever marked the annals of Chinese history. Behind every great heist there's a cunning mastermind. In this case, it was Ren Xiao Fung. Ren Xiao Fung was not a typical criminal. He was a man of stature, a manager at the Agricultural Bank of China, one of the most prestigious banking institutions in the country. Ren was not born into wealth or power, but he had a keen intellect and a will to rise above his humble beginnings. His ambition led him to the banking world, where he quickly climbed the ranks to a position of power. He had access to inside information, a deep understanding of the bank's operations, and a vision that would soon plunge him into infamy. But what sets Ren apart was not his position or his ambition, but his audacity. He saw an opportunity in the very institution he was part of, and he was willing to risk everything to seize it. His plan was audacious, to say the least. He planned to rob the bank from the inside, exploiting his knowledge of the bank's systems and procedures to pull off the heist. The planning was meticulous. Every detail was thought of, every loophole was explored. Ren's knowledge of the bank's security measures was instrumental in devising a plan that would go undetected. He knew when the vaults were most vulnerable, when the security was lax, and when he could make his move without raising any alarms. His plan was as audacious as it was insane. He would not just take a few bundles of cash and make a quick escape. No, he planned to take the entire vault. It was a plan that seemed more like a plot from a Hollywood thriller than something a bank manager would concoct. But Ren was not deterred by the scale of his plan. He was driven by a desire for wealth and power, a desire that clouded his judgment and pushed him to take unthinkable risks. He was ready to gamble everything, his career, his reputation, and his freedom on a single grand heist. Ren's plan was in motion, ready to send shockwaves through the nation. With a plan in place, the time for action had arrived. The day of the heist was just like any other day at the bank. Bright morning lights streamed through the windows, employees greeted one another with smiles, and customers began to line up, oblivious to the drama that was about to unfold. Ren, the mastermind behind this operation, had spent countless nights meticulously crafting his plan. He knew that the success of the heist hinged on a delicate balance of precision, timing, and audacity. And as the bank's head teller, Ren was in the perfect position to orchestrate the theft. As the bank's doors swung open for business, Ren and his accomplices began their dance of deception. With an air of normalcy, they carried out their regular duties, helping customers, cashing checks, and making small talk. Yet, beneath this veneer of routine, each movement was a calculated step in their grand scheme. The vault, usually a symbol of security and trust, became the stage for their audacious act. Ren, with his intimate knowledge of the bank's operations, had managed to manipulate the vault's system. He had orchestrated a scenario where the vault would be left unattended and unlocked during the busiest time of the day, a time when the absence of the vault's custodian would go unnoticed. With the stage set, Ren and his team moved swiftly. They began transferring bundles of cash from the vault. The money, amounting to millions, was moved without raising an eyebrow. The team worked in harmony, their actions masked by the hustle and bustle of the busy banking hall. Timing was of the essence. Each second that ticked by brought them closer to either their ultimate success or a lifetime behind bars. Yet they moved with a calmness that belied the gravity of their actions, a testament to their meticulous planning and unwavering nerve. In a matter of hours, Ren and his team had pulled off the unthinkable. They had executed the greatest bank robbery in Chinese history, right under the noses of unsuspecting customers and colleagues alike. The audacity of their act was only matched by the precision with which they carried it out. And as the bank's doors closed for the day, they walked away, their pockets heavier and their place in the annals of crime history secured. The aftermath of the heist was as dramatic as the crime itself. In the early morning hours, as the first rays of sunlight pierced the quiet cityscape, the bank staff arrived to a sight they could hardly believe. The vault, once filled with millions, was now a gaping chasm of emptiness. The shock quickly turned into a frenzied flurry of activity as the bank's authorities were alerted and the magnitude of the heist was realized. It was not just a theft, it was a meticulously planned and executed operation that had left them utterly outwitted. As news of the audacious heist spread, it shook the nation. The authorities swung into action, the scale of the crime triggering a nationwide manhunt for the mastermind Ren and his accomplices. Every police force in the country was on high alert, every border post was scrutinized, every airport and seaport were closely watched. Yet Ren and his team seemed to have disappeared into thin air. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months. The trail seemed to grow cold until one day, a breakthrough, a tip-off, led the authorities to a remote village in the mountains. The lair of the criminals was found and a dramatic raid ensued. Ren and his accomplices were finally apprehended. The nation heaved a sigh of relief. Justice had finally caught up with the criminals. In the hideout, a significant portion of the stolen money was recovered, but not all. Some of it was never found, leading many to believe that a part of the loot was still hidden somewhere, waiting to be discovered. Despite the recovery, the heist left an indelible mark on the nation's psyche. It was a sobering reminder of the lengths to which some would go for wealth, and the audacity they possessed to challenge the established order. The audacious heist had come to a dramatic end. Yet, the echoes of this daring crime still resonate, a chilling reminder of the greatest bank robbery in Chinese history. The impact of this heist went far beyond the initial shock and awe. Indeed, it sent ripples through the society, the economy, and the very fabric of the Chinese banking industry. Let's delve into what this means. First, let's look at the banking industry. The aftermath of this audacious robbery led to sweeping changes. Banks across the country scrambled to tighten their security measures, investing heavily in state-of-the-art systems and protocols. The government, too, didn't sit idle. Stricter regulations were put into place with harsher penalties for any breaches. The goal was clear: to prevent such a catastrophe from happening again. But the impact was not confined to the corridors of power and wealth. It reached the common man on the street as well. The public trust in banks, a cornerstone of any financial system, took a severe hit. After all, if the largest bank in the country could be robbed so brazenly, what hope did the smaller institutions have? Skepticism crept in, and people began to question the security of their hard-earned money. Yet, this skepticism was not entirely negative. It forced the public to be more vigilant, more informed about their financial choices. It also sparked a demand for greater transparency from banks and other financial institutions. In the end, the greatest bank robbery in Chinese history had a profound impact. It was a wake-up call that led to significant changes that were necessary for the evolution of the banking industry in China. It also influenced the relationship between the public and their banks, fostering a more cautious and informed approach to personal finance. The greatest bank robbery in Chinese history had forever changed the nation's perception of security and trust, not just in banks or financial institutions, but across all aspects of society. It was a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, the need for robust security, and the value of public trust.